Well, I am very pleased to introduce a very good friend of mine, past national president of the Society of American Magicians from Rhode Island, Bruce Kalver.
There you go. Hey, I just want to say, my mic works. Here you go. Actually, I'm going to just keep this over here, just in case. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is an honor to do today. Before we bring out our special guest of honor here for an interview, I want to tell you, I was a radio talk show host for 18 years. I've interviewed many, many famous celebrities, and we got this one today. So, we're going to start by showing you a little film that I put together to introduce our guest. So if you can start that film, take a look at the screens. Here we go. Maybe? There we go. It's an old film. You'll just have to watch it.
I'm very honored to have been the first dean of the Society of American Magicians. My advice for the future is to never select a ventriloquist to be the dean. Good luck.
Use my mic. Yeah.
I was at the airport this morning in New York. Fascinating. And there was a woman next to me. The flight was El Al Airline. You ever hear El Al Airline?
Yes.
Israeli, great airline. They check everything. The woman got out with a little box. I said, "What's the box?" She says, "My dog." I said, "You can't put a dog." "My little dog." "You can't put a dog on the plane." "My little dog." "Wait a minute. We'll put it in the back. The back of the plane is all pressurized." "My little dog." For 9 hours, that went to New York, to Ben Gurion Airport. They opened the box and the dog was dead. The guy says, "Wait a minute, give me another dog, looks like it." And they did. They got another there. He says, "That's not my dog." I says, "How do you know?" He says, "My dog is dead. I came to bury him." Listen, I got nothing. I want to see his picture. Are you busy, sir? Did I wake you? George Schindler, world's greatest magician. you hear him? Before we get any stuff, I hope you can hear me. Huh? Before we get started, did we arrange anything before the show started?
No.
We did not talk. We did not discuss anything. We did not meet before the show. Is that correct?
Many years ago.
You're not the guy. That's right. You stand over here. Thank you very much. We're going to show you a little trick. If you, do me a favor. Bring the little red table from over there, put it here. This is such a great trick. The little red table and say, look, sir, the red table from here, just put it over. This one right here. This one right here. You pick it up anyway. That's right. That's right. Put it over. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this trick, just put it down. Don't make a big thing. Just put it down. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll notice that on the red table, there are 2 decks of playing cards. The red deck and the blue deck. What your name is? Black. Pick up either deck. He's got the red deck, ladies and gentlemen. Give the cards a good shuffle. Wait a minute, you got to take it out of the box. Would you hold on to this, sir? They think we're crazy. There's the guy holding the box. So are you ready for this? Oh, you should shuffle them around. I'm going to spread the cards carefully. Can you see one card, yes or no?
Yes.
Of course. Now, for the first time, tell us the name of the card you just saw.
I saw the ace of the clubs.
You're kidding. That's the card I had in my pocket. Would you swear before a court of law we did not plan this before the show started? We never met. Do me a favor, take the red table and bring it home with you. Take it with you. Give him a nice round of applause. Thank you so much. I find that so hard. Did you want to talk to me?
Have a few minutes.
Have a seat.
We got a few minutes. I'm going to tell the crew over there, if you could turn my mic on now. They're all busy over there. Okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Okay. Nice group of people. Oh, the rest of them are out to lunch, right?
Yeah. Hey, tech crew. First of all, they are the greatest people in the world. Hold my hand. Tech crew, you want to use number 2 instead? Yeah. Okay. We'll do number 2 instead, okay?
I don't know what's going on.
Why should today be any different, George?
Have a seat.
All right, thanks, George. Love to join you. Fortunately or unfortunately, you can't see the screens from here. So we're just going to do it. Oh, and I have the ability to change the screen, so let me change it. That's George.
Is it this?
Yeah, you want to see what we're saying?
I see it. I see it.
There it is. That's you.
That was me. I grew up a little bit.
How old are you, George?
I was 4 years old in that picture, and I was destined for show business. You can see that.
Any story behind that picture? Or?
A friend of my mother's was a photographer, and he was just taking pictures, and he figured that would be a cute one. And we had no idea that I would ever end up in this business. But it was a nice picture.
Well, that's a nice picture.
And I'm glad I kept it. I used it for the cover of a magazine once.
It's right there. This is, I think, my 4th time interviewing you.
You should have it down by now.
I know every story. I'm going to lead you to the right stories.
Okay.
Okay? You, hard to believe because you're so vocal on stage and everything. Your appearances at the Magic Castle, they love you there. You're a shy guy.
I didn't know that.
But would you call yourself shy?
I used to be shy.
Used
now
to
I
be
can talk to people.
So tell me about when you were in elementary school.
Well, I was a skinny little kid, and I've got a couple of pounds I've added, and I used to be picked on all the time. You know, I was the little kid that I had to be better than they were, so I took up magic and I worked it out. Then they started inviting me to parties. Up until then, it was nothing. I'm sure we all went through some of that.
And you were because you were so skinny and sick all the time, they put you in special classes?
Yes, I was in a special class called the open air class. It was an experimental thing. We had kids from different grade levels and all in this little class. And then every morning we'd get in, and they'd open the windows, we'd breathe in and out, and it was a very interesting experiment. I'm still breathing, by the way.
So it worked out to your favor, right? So you weren't a magician in school?
No, I wasn't, until I was about 11 years old.
What were your favorite subjects?
I was interested in reading. I used to read a lot.
Yeah.
And I played a lot with dice. But that was another story.
Not in magic, though.
Having nothing to do with magic. Dice.
All right. So at what point, how did you get into magic? That's really the...
Well, my cousin and I, my cousin Julie, two of us lived near Coney Island in Brooklyn. You know, from Brooklyn, we used to have a subway for a nickel. And we'd take a ride, we were about 10 years old, 9, 10 years old, and our parents would let us go on the subway, which is great. Today, they don't do that till you're 15. And we'd go to Coney Island, and there was a sideshow in Coney Island with a magician. The Great Thornton was his name, we all remember him. And he put a bottle on one side and a glass on the other, covered them up, and they changed places. And I was fascinated. I watched this for weeks and weeks, and finally I figured out how he did it. So I went home and I made myself a set, and it worked. And then in school, we had a magician at public school. School magicians are really great because they start off this. The guy threw a line into the audience and a fish appeared at the end of the line. That's fantastic. It took me 40 years to learn that trick. And I've only seen it once. I think Alan Shaxter is the only one I've ever seen do that.
And now Matt King.
Matt King, well, Mac does it throughout the line.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
So were there any other people in school that were...
No, there was one kid, when we got to high school, there was one kid who did card tricks. I didn't know anything about card tricks. I had no idea. I was doing boxing and things. And he showed me a card trick. He did the pass. Now, if you're not a magician, it doesn't make a difference. I was fascinated. And I started learning card tricks. And the two of us went down. There's a guy named Peter Pan, the Magic Man, in New York. He was the official New York City magician. And
he had a daughter, right?
his daughter came later.
Okay.
And a bunch of us kids would get together on Saturday morning, and he would teach us magic, and we'd go to the park, in all the various parks with him. I would carry his rabbit. And then later, the little girl became a dancer. In fact, I once was in Central Park, I pulled her out of an Arabian tent. I was great. I was a star, but then she became a ventriloquist, and Shari Lewis was her name. I don't know if you know her. Nice kid. Later on, I got a puppet. He gave me a girl, a little doll, a vent doll, a little girl, and I had to learn ventriloquism.
Why did you have to learn ventriloquism?
He gave me a doll, he says, you'll be on the show. I said, what do I do? He said, well, you just make a toy. How do I do that? Well, it's very simple. You could be a ventriloquist very easily. He said to me three things. First, pretend that it's real. That was easy. He said, second, when she talks, change your voice. And third, speak without moving your lips. And that was it. And it worked.
That was it?
Yeah. Anyway, he gave me the doll, and then years later, Shari called me and says, I'd like that doll back. I said, what the heck was that? I'm not going to give it to her. So she came up with a little glove or something. I don't know what she did. She made a glove family.
Wow.
She could have had that doll.
So
Which
you
I still have, by the way.
Yeah? So you were part of a magician's club at that point?
Well, we called ourselves the Peter Pan Magic Club. And Carl Ballantyne was around there. And Carl said, why do you name a magic club after a peanut butter? So that time a kid named Howie Schwartzman, who's still around, by the way. The only two of us left, by the way, that group.
Yeah.
Howie Schwartzman very well around, but he's still around. And he said, why don't we call it the Future American Magical Entertainers? FAME, F-A-M-E, and we kept that name.
Who else was in the club?
It was Dick Brooks, who was he's got the
Houdini Museum
in Scranton right now. There was Shari Lewis, Stanley Burns, a great ventriloquist.
Al Goshman?
He came later.
Okay.
Al was in and out. Al was the only kid who had a job. That's true. His father was a baker in Brooklyn. We used to call him Baker the Faker. And he'd come covered with dust. And he'd buy a trick and teach it to us and then sell it to us. And with the money, he'd buy another trick. So we didn't have to go to magic shop. We just had to meet Al on Saturday. It was great.
Card workers remember Ken Krenzel?
Kenny Krenzel, his name wasn't, well, I'm not going to tell you what. Anyway, Kenny was a great performer. And he and Howie would go under the table doing magic. They were afraid to let us see what they were doing. And they became very well-known card performers. Both of them were very famous.
So this was good for you. How old were you around?
At that time, I was about 16, 17, 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're graduating from high school.
Yes, I did graduate from high school. I didn't get out of college, but I graduated from high school.
And then you went to college. Now,
I
tell me
went to
about
college. I did my magic, and I was able to pay for my college expenses. And for the last year of college, I got a job in a magic shop called Max Holden's Magic on 42nd Street.
In New York. And who was the manager?
A guy named, that time was a guy named Skippy. Skippy was, Norman Jensen was his name, very good, nice guy. And he got a TV show, the first TV show in New York as a kid show performer. This has got to be 1948. And I took, his friend was a guy named Frank Garcia, who took over the shop. And Frank hired me as his assistant. And we became very friendly.
So that's when you met Frank Garcia?
Yes, I met him in 1948.
Okay. Now tell the story. I couldn't wait for you to get to this point.
Okay.
Tell the story about you two young kids trying to fool Milburn Christopher.
Okay. Milburn Christopher, you all know, was the New York man. He put magic on television, first guy, and he was very popular. He's very gullible. And we had a trick, the penny and dime trick. You all know the penny and dime. You take a penny and put it in the shell bottle, and you throw it in the glass to separate the shell from the penny. It was very simple, and you get it up. Anyway, Christopher would come in, and Frank would throw his penny on the table, and he'd keep it. Christopher, come here. You know how to do it. Give me a glass. And we gave him a real penny. And Christopher could not understand why the shell wouldn't come off the penny. When he turned around, Frank switched it, and we did it. He was a great guy. And Christopher was a very, very wonderful man. And he taught me about publicity. He really did. And he made us famous really back in the late 1949, 50, really very well.
Did you do a like a mind reading trick for him or something?
Okay. You have to picture this. How would I describe it? The magic shop had a bookshelf on one wall. And the other wall was a little entranceway to the back room. And there's another cash register, there's another entranceway. So I would go to the back room where we had all the books. And Christopher would pick out a book from this outside, and he'd open the book to any page, and Frank would read the page, and I would tell him from backstage what page he was on, and whisper to Frank back, and he would tell Christopher. Christopher could not figure this trick out. He'd come back and see it. And all he had to do was open the book. I would find out what book he had, go to get the copy, and read it behind the curtain to Frank. It was great. And we did that with our magician, but Christopher was the guy who felt
You sell that trick now, right? No.
$100.
You were an art decorator?
My father was an art decorator. What he would do is go into a house, and he had a painter would paint the walls solid. He would put leaves and it looked like wallpaper, and he'd do art designs on it, and he did it by hand. It was very nice. And my job was to put the knots in the knotty pine. He'd make a thing, I'd take a little twist and put the knots in the knotty pine. I still could do that, but I made all your props then, huh?
Did you? I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that about you. Did you do any magic in college?
I did some. I went to college. First, I had a job during the day. I went to college at night. And so it takes a lot longer to do it that way. And I did some magic in college, but not a lot. And I met a guy in college. I didn't know him until years later, when we both discovered we were both magicians in the same school at the same time, and we became very friendly. We are still today. But yeah, by my last year at college, Frank called me and said, they're closing the magic shop Holden's in Philadelphia. And so you got to leave. This was 1951. I hated to leave, but what was I going to do? He said, Frank got me a cruise. And I played my first cruise ship, and I left Holden. I didn't graduate from my college last year. And the funny part of it is, last year, I got a call from the college. I've been in college 50 years ago, and they gave me a certificate. I never graduated. They don't know that. I got a certificate.
To this day?
Yeah.
Is the college still in business?
Oh, yeah, Brooklyn College is still there.
Oh, okay.
Thank you both.
There's the alumnus right there.
Why weren't you at the council meeting this morning? I'll talk to you about it.
Okay, and so the shop had to close, and that was the end.
Then I went into show business. I got an agent called Harry Lee. And Harry Lee was, you ever see the movie Broadway Danny Rose? the seedy agent, this was Harry Lee. He was a real seedy character. I used to get bookings. He took me this way, that way. He would put me with a band, and I opened for the band. It was terrible because they didn't want to see me. They wanted to see the band. But I did travel around the country with.
Was this the kind of agent where you'd sit out in the hallway waiting for?
Well, yeah. Wednesday, I'd sit in the hallway waiting in the guy's room. He'll come in, he'd get a booking for Saturday. And there was a girl sitting next to me, a singer. Lee Kane was her name. And he'd come out and says, I need a record act. I said, we do that. He said, what's that? A record act, you put a record on and you open and close your mouth.
You know, you lip sync. It's a lip sync.
Let me call it out. And the girl says, what do you mean we? I said, we'll take the booking. What's the big deal? You do. So he got us a booking out in the Catskills.
You never met this girl before?
So she was sitting in the lobby waiting for the lead. She lived in Brooklyn.
So we're a team. We can do it.
I said, wait, which one Saturday night? We'll pick up for $15, which is what we got. Anyway, we were hit. We went out together for almost a year doing that act. And she at the end, she would sing a real song. Yeah, the Orange Show was a record and that. And we were playing a place called Ben Maxick's Town and Country Club in Brooklyn. And her record broke. She called her father, and he couldn't come. And I said, you know what? She said, I got to sing. So she sang, and I closed by myself.
That was it. That was the end of the act. And we have her here today. She's coming out. No, okay.
She had a record for Capitol Records. Nobody ever heard of it after that.
Really?
It's a shame.
So, besides being a ventriloquist and a magician, wait, before we get to that, I want to switch the slide. and I think people will understand.
Can you that's just on there?
It's your wedding picture.
Yes, that was our wedding. That was
We need to mention Nina.
1958.
Absolutely mention Nina. 1958, how many years?
61 years.
61 years. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nina never took a picture without a smile. I just want to tell you that. We can never find a picture without a smile. So how did you meet
was
Nina?
a registrar at a convention years ago. There were 4 girls. It was Nina, was Jan Goodsell, was Gail, I forget her last name, and Jackie Morehouse's wife.
Hank Morehouse's wife.
Hank Morehouse's wife.
Yeah.
And the 4 of them were registrars. They knew more people at the convention than I did. And they knew everybody because they signed them all in. And Nina would say, listen, and she knew to this day, last we were here, we were in Chicago with us, she knew all people, I didn't even know who they were. She was so good as that.
And Nina knew more people than you
did.
We know that.
I saw the program.
We know that. How'd you meet Nina?
We met on a blind date. My sister, bless her heart, was a member of a college fraternity or sorority. And she had Nina's cousin was there. And they said, you know what? The 2 of them went, I had broken up with a girl. Why don't we put them together? She told Nina, she told me she's a good laugher. At that time, I was writing comedy material, so I wanted a good laugher.
You needed a good laugher.
And we went out once, and we went out, we had a nice evening, and we went to the travel show in New York, and I booked tickets to Las Vegas. It was 1957, and when I first came out to Las Vegas. And at that time, a guy named Jack Durant was a comedian out here. I used to write for him. And so he got me to Desert Inn, and the next one was the Flamingo, which was miles and miles away. Now you have your hotels next to one another. You can't tell from.
So how did you get into writing comedy?
Well, I used to work in the Catskills a lot, and I would do the Magic Act. There was a lot of comics, and they were always interested in material. And this guy, Jack Durant, came up and said, you know what? He said, I'm going to get you a tape recorder. At that time, tape recorders were big. If you go to see the actor, when you get home, type up their material.
You were stealing their material?
I was stealing material.
And he paid you to do it?
Not very well, but I got paid. He did get me out to Vegas, I must say. He paid my fee was $8 for the hotel room, I remember. And so I would do that, and but the big tape recorder. So I got Nina one. When I met Nina, she had a big bag. I put the tape recorder in the bag. We'd go night clubbing. And of course, they paid for it. I didn't have to worry about it. And we would tape acts. One time Jack was with me, and we were with Milton Berle was there. And we were sitting in, and Milton came over to our table, and he said, well, how do you want? And Jack said, do you remember what joke you did after you picked up the tape? He said, I don't remember the joke. He said, George, he played it back.
Really?
Never forgot. Really? He never came again. He never came with a bag again. That was fun.
So you got married, and you had, tell me about showbiz services.
Well, when I was writing comedy, it was a company called Billy Gleason. If you wrote all the Billboard magazines, Billy was selling comedy material to comedians. That's easy. You just type up all the gags I had, they type them on cards, and I send them to people. I used to send cards to the comedians. You send them a card, and if you like it, they'll pay you $1 or $2. Well, my biggest cousin, what was her name? The crazy lady. Anyway, so I would send out these cards, and people would send me $1, $2, and they keep the card. And anyway, I was writing material, and these comedians would say, can you give me this? Can you give me this? I said, I can write this stuff. So I put out a file, a mimeograph file, in jokes. And I used to sell them for $1 a piece. And I had a dozen of them. I put them into a booklet called Jockey Joker. I sold a disc jockey.
Yeah. So all those clever things that those disc jockeys would say, they were subscribing to your joke.
Which I got from other people.
Right. Okay. So this is very similar to magic, isn't it?
No.
I see the progression right here.
It's a natural progression.
It's a natural progression. Switch the picture.
That was the first picture I had. That was in Genie magazine. Genie magazine was published by the Conjurers people in California. Yeah. Bill Larson and his son and Milton. And I went out to California. I was just a kid. And I wrote a column for them. If you look it up in the old Genie magazine, it was called Jockey Joe. No, it was called. I forget what it was called. Anyway, I would have a column in there every month, and they put my picture in. It was the first time I ever got published in the magazine. You got the picture?
And that's the picture with the fan.
That was the picture they put in.
That's Card Fans, right? I'm at the right one?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Those card fans took me luck to pose that because I didn't know how to make a card fan back then.
Really? You also wrote a book on balloon animals. So
That came way later, yeah.
Okay. I forgot something about you getting married to Nina. Do you propose to her using magic?
Yeah, well, at that time I learned, Dave Vernon had a routine with cups and bowls where he wrapped the cups in newspapers. And I did that with real cups, and I did it at a dinner table. And at the end of the routine, when I picked up the cups, there was a diamond ring for Nina. And that's how I proposed.
You never thought he was a romantic, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice. I love that story. So, okay, so Showbiz Services.
Well, I advertised in the magazine for $2. You could get maybe a grab jokes, and I built up a clientele. And, Phyllis Dillon, that was her name.
Phyllis Dillon, yeah.
She was sending me money for everything. She never used a joke. She just sent me the money. It was fine. Well, I want to tell you about Henny Youngman.
Okay.
He used to come to the musicians. Musicians have a magic table in New York, the Dixie Hotel years ago. You'll read about it in one of the columns. And he came to, he asked me for his joke. I gave him a joke, and we used it on television the following day, in the Mike Douglas show. So I got him at the table and said, hey, you owe me some money. He said, what for? He says, for a joke. He said, I didn't like it. I said, you used it on television. So I copied it. I sent it to every comedian in New York.
Really?
He was an interesting guy, Henny Youngman.
Showbiz Services came because you bought...
I bought a company. There was a guy named, I forget his name. I bought a company who used to sell these jokes. I would sell his jokes to other people because I didn't have enough jokes on my own to steal, to sell.
Now, while you were doing all this, you had another job.
I had many jobs. I worked in a hardware store selling Venetian blinds.
Can you picture that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then the magic shop was like a great job. And in between, I had other little jobs. When I got married, my father put me in the wallpaper business. He said, I got a friend who bought wallpaper, and I used to sell wallpaper to decorators. They'd come in, I'd show them the design, we'd tell them what colors to put in, and I'd send it to the factory and pick them. It was a horrible job, and I did it for about 6 years. Then when he got married, he said, you're going to need a real job. A cousin of mine had an electronics firm, and I went to work for him while I got married. And so I worked for him for 17 long years as his purchasing agent. I was not doing too much magic.
But you were the tech guy that I go to all the time, worked in an electronics company.
Yes.
Yeah.
We used to sell electronic tubes. And remember tubes, the radios, you used to, remember those? Now you get a new thing. And so my job was I would bid on government surplus. One time I bid on a thing, it was an F-17. An airplane came in.
He's not kidding.
3 cartons, a wing and body. I didn't know what I was bidding on, but I was the highest bidder, so I got the bid.
What do they call that area?
I don't know.
There was something.
Surplus material.
Yeah, okay. All right, so now you decide you're going to do magic full time.
Well, here's what happened. I was 17 long years of working. In the meantime, my kids were growing up. My little baby daughter is now, 50? Not quite. Anyway, so we had a nursery school I wanted to send the kids to. We didn't have a lot of money. So I said, you know what? I'll do magic shows for the kids on Saturdays. And so they took the kids in free, and I did magic shows. I said, you know what? I'm going to do magic shows. I did kids show for a couple of years after that. And then I said, I have enough of this. I went back into show business. I sold the stock of my company, I sold my station wagon, and we bought a Zigzag, and that was it. In 1973.
The name of the show was?
George Schindler's World of Illusion. So if you haven't
How many of you have seen that show? No,
That's
2. Yeah, his daughter, right. Many times.
My daughter Dee was in the Arabian Basket, I remember that.
So I want to talk about this. Let me switch it.
What's the picture? Well, Frank Garcia and I were friends for a long time.
How many of you have this book, Magic with Cards? Applaud if you have it.
You can get it on Amazon now or on eBay for about $1.
How did you write that book?
It's very interesting. Frank wanted to do a book on card tricks, and he wasn't a very good writer. And I was a writer. I had written several books on jokes and stuff. I said, let's get together. And we go to his house, and we have a small table and 2 bottles of Scotch and bourbon. And Frank was a very good cook, by the way. So he'd cook dinner, And we talk about, he do a trick, I said, go put it in the book. And when he got through that, he said, how do you like the dinner? I said, it's great, let's put it in the book. So the first book we did was $1 Million Card Secrets. Now, I didn't know anything about card tricks. He taught me every trick. I wouldn't put it in the book until I learned it. And so I learned all those card tricks from Frank. And we put the first book was a recipe.
There was a recipe.
Yeah, it was a recipe in the back of it. The second book we did was a follow-up called Super Subtle Card Miracles. And we're in tannins, and I said to the guy, how about magic? He says, I don't like meat. So I said, so we get the next book. We put a recipe. So that's what we have put recipes in all of our books. Amadeo, we wrote the Amadeo book. We put a recipe, and he says, that's a lousy book, no recipe. So we had to put a recipe in his book. If you get the early books, there are recipes.
Tell the story about when you wrote the 3-shell game.
That's what McDonald D said.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling the story.
Frank did a 3-shell game, which is very good. And so I learned that, and we had a summer home we rented in Maine. And so in the afternoon, I put the typewriter on the desk, and I typed, and the kids would go fishing and swimming. And the evening, I didn't know how the tricks were, so I had to read the kids, and I gave the kids the script, and if they could do the trick, I knew it was readable. Dee was the only one who did the trick well, and so when we got back, Frank came and said, how's the book? I said, Dee, show, and Dee did a routine. He was flabbergasted.
She learned the 3-shell game. How old was she?
She was about 7, I guess, 8.
She'll be available to show it to you and put your money out over there. And then,
Years later, I got her a job with Jack Rose making balloon animals. She and Jack was over all the malls selling balloon animals, and I was still trying to make a buck with a magic act.
So you wanted to do that balloon book.
The balloon book came because I'll tell you how the balloon book. There's a guy named George Gilbert. He's still around, I believe. And George came to me at a magic table and said, you know, I got a kid show. You want to do it for me next week? You're George. You're good. I said, fine. He said, well, don't forget to do the balloons. I said, I don't do balloons. He said, oh, but I promised the woman she'd do the balloon. I said, I don't. He said, I'll teach you. So we went to Rossoff's restaurant, and he taught me how to make a balloon dog. It's the same animal, no matter what you do, it's the same dog. So I learned how to make the dog, and I went home, and he built balloons, and I was making, he was making better ones than I did. So what we did is, before the show, we made a bunch of balloons, and put them in a bag, and I took the bag, and I just handed them out. And I got away with that. But Dee was really making the balloon animals. He was very good at it.
So how did Reese Games get to you?
Okay, we had a magic school. Garcia and I decided we start out with, we're going to make a lot of money teaching gambling. And Frank Carter had a really nice technique. And we figured out how to teach gambling. So we opened up an open session in a hotel, and a bunch of guys showed up. They were real gamblers. We didn't know that. Frank was not a real gambler. He was a surface gambler, like a magician. So then they told us that it's illegal to teach gambling in New York. So now we had this corporation we set up, was illegal. We said, we'll teach magic. So our first one was the Ramada Inn on 57th Street. And we had 6 or 8 members, and we taught magic. And one of the members was a guy named Bob Reese. By the way, he put an ad in the journal. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Back in 1971. And so we taught him magic. And I said, why do you want to learn magic? He said, I bought a trick, and I want to put it on the market. And he put the invisible deck on the market, which killed us. Because here, every magician was doing invisible. Here's he putting it in the department store. So the first thing I did with him, all magicians were mad. The first thing I did, I went to work for him. I was touring. I said, you know what? I'll buy all your invisible decks. And we bought them all. I sold to D. Robbins and Company. And we took it off the market. And one time, there was a guy named Joe.
Yeah, right.
A guy named Joe Jelinek.
He's got 3 cases of them back here for you.
You can't get those anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Joe Jelinek said, we can put this guy out of business, we'll sell Svengali decks. I said, don't do that. And so we took them off the market, but Reese was happy, he sold all his decks. It was very good.
So then you came out with the
No,
kits.
they came very close with Reese. I redesigned all those magic sets. Reese Magic Game used to sell individual magic boxes in the department.
How many of you remember these? They were fantastic, weren't they?
I used to sell
Pardon me?
them. I was pitching them in Bloomingdale.
I was pitching them at Macy's in Rhode Island.
Okay, so they gave me some money, and I got magicians all over the country, department stores, demonstrating his decks. And a couple of guys really were very good at it. The only thing is they had to follow our instructions. He put it on a box, and I did the box of film. And one day I was watching the film, and there's a guy standing next to me, and I'm on the box. And I said to the guy, he's pretty good at this. He said, he's terrible. Look at the guy, he's great. He did that. I said, I'll show you. And I showed him. He didn't realize it was me on the box. Another story, my granddaughter, my niece in Honolulu said, I didn't know you were in Honolulu. I said, I wasn't. She heard me on a department store. She ran up the stairs. I was gone. But she heard my voice. I was doing magic. I wasn't even in there.
Wow.
She did the tape. It was a lot of fun.
Your face is still on.
I don't, you notice I didn't put the membership.
Magic
I
sets
tasted
and
my
things like that, yeah. Your face is still on dollar store magic sets.
Yes, it is.
It's
Unfortunately,
everywhere.
didn't take that off the market.
Let's take a minute to talk about, and then I'll open it up to questions. Let's take a minute to talk about Woody Allen movie. How did that come about?
Okay, I got a call from an agency. He said, we want you to go down. In New York, you get a lot of cattle, we call it cattle call. They call 6 magicians, you come down, you demonstrate, and then they hire an actor to do what you did. That wasn't very lucrative. So they said, come on down. I said, I'm not going to make it. You know what? I'll send them a tape. And I had a videotape. I sent the tape with a car, so they had it that night. The following day, I get a phone call. This is, what's her name? And she said, I would like you to come down and talk to this guy. We got your tape. Well, there was only one person I knew that had a tape, so I went down. It was on 33rd Street. There was a van. And Woody Allen sitting in a van. I said, we have this scene. Do you want to do it? I said, fine. Would you shave your beard? I said, no. He said, why not? I said, well, that's my look. He said, well, when you go out to the show, you put a fake beard on. I said, no way. They hired an actor to do this spot. They didn't like it. He didn't have a beard. So they wanted me to shave my beard, which I wouldn't do. Anyway, so I said, I'm not very good at memorizing lines. He said, well, we'll let you know. And I left there about 11 o'clock in the morning. I went to the magician's table at the Edison. I said, by the way, don't mention anything that we had a discussion. At the Edison, I'm sitting with other magicians. The guy says, which one of you is George Schindler? I said, me. He said, you want to get a phone call for you? Who the hell knew I'm here? Nina, of course, said, somebody called me, wants to know your neck size, they want to know your sleeve. I wasn't all about it. She said, and also you got to go to 33rd Street and pick up a script. I said, for what? I didn't realize I got the job. I went to 33rd Street, they gave me a script, which I didn't even do that. And then they said, you got to go for a fitting. They had a beautiful costume already made up, and the guy was not right. He said, where do I put the flowers? I said, what flowers? He said, well, you produce flowers. I said, put them in the sleeve. Anyway, and as I'm leaving, the girl says to me, oh, give me your SAG number. I said, what SAG number? I'm not a member of the union. Oh, you have to be a member of the union. How do I do that? She said, go down here, and you give them $800. I don't have $50. So I went down, I said to the guy, I don't have the money. He says, all right, we'll sign you up, and then tomorrow I picked up $800. I said, what am I getting for this movie? You're getting $400 a day. Said, that's good. If I do 2 days, I'm okay. So I did the 2 days. And I get there, and he said, all right, they had Alcorn, by the way, is here demonstrating. I had an Alcorn die box, a sword box, which I used. And they said, just do it. They told me what to do. And I put a lady in the box and took her out of the box. It was a big deal.
That was no lady. That was no normal lady. Yeah, we'll talk after.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
So
it was May Questal.
It was May Questal.
Betty
No,
Boop.
that is
You
Betty
remember
Boop.
Betty Boop? Well, you're not as old as I am.
You know who Betty Boop was, right? It was the voice of Betty Boop.
On that.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I was more interested in that.
Well, you were the radio guy.
Yeah, right. So you did the thing. You played a Jewish Chinese magician.
Well, first of all, I didn't know what he wanted.
Yeah.
He just told me, he said, you put the lady in the box, you put the swords through, and she's going to be disappeared. Okay, fine. So we did the scene, and I don't know what, I said, I'll just do your own thing. So I did it my way. Years later, Woody Allen did a movie in England, and he played George Schindler.
Right.
He did my whole style, not by acting, in the movie. He liked the style.
Yeah.
And a woman came up and said, I got a lady from George with his mother in the movie, and I made her disappear, and it ended up she was in the sky somewhere. It's interesting.
So it was 2 days of work.
I'm still getting royalties for that movie. It's 1982 or 3. Every year, I get my IRS guy, I get a check for $6, $8. I'm still getting royalties on that movie.
Wow.
For all these years.
So maybe you'll make a little money off the movie.
They put on pay-per-view.
That's fantastic. So it was worth it because you got your SAG card.
I got my SAG card. I get movies every. Last week I got a bunch of movies. The SAG awards are coming up. They want me to vote on the movies. I don't pay any dues.
You get the screeners.
I get all the screening and I get all the movies. I see them all, and it's fine. I didn't vote because I don't vote.
Okay, I found something.
What's that?
You were on Regis
Twice.
Well, I found one of them. And let me switch the screen.
I don't see what.
You're not going to be able to see it.
Which one?
But they're going to be able to see it. The Soaring in Half. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Did it work? Can you turn the volume up?
How do you like me so far?
Oh, there it goes.
Wait a minute, no, you're not switching it yet. You go back to my keynote.
Go back to his keynote.
See if you can go back to the keynote. Are we there? I'm going to stand up.
It's a shame, it's a good clip.
It's a great clip. Are we there? Okay, let's try it.
I want you to be as comfortable as possible. Yes, I have to have. I'm not going to plug this because it's out of print. My book, Presto, and it tells you how to make how to do card tricks. But put your head on there because this is the beginner's book on magic, and just lie down, very relaxed. Just relax. Don't fall off the table. We did that before. But just relax. You're going to get this frame head. You think you're going to fit in here? 32, you said, huh? Just about going to make it. Has anybody got a hammer? Oh, okay, fine. Okay. Now, put one hand on one side, one hand on the other. That's very good. You fit very, very nicely. Just in case, that's a nice looking suit. We don't want to mess up the suit. I'll put a little towel in there in case of any splashing. No, in case it splashes, we don't want to allow. Not to worry. Not to worry. We got 2 taxis outside ready to get you home when it comes. All right, ready for the big stuff. Oh, by the way, I don't want you to get nervous, right? Do you know any magic words? Alakazam? No, no. Our Father who art in heaven. We won't stop. Are we ready? Think of it this way, Regis. You might get severance pay. There's a good one. Ready? Nothing can go wrong. Here we go. No! No! George! George! Hands down! Wait. George! Hands down, hands down, hands down. When you get up, don't take a bow right away. So far, so good. Blood. Where's the blood? Oh, it tells you about it right over here. Did I tell you about this? Hey, a lot of jobs. And that's it, huh? Don't drink. Oh, wait, gee. Sorry about that. Well, hey, he looks pretty good. Slowly, Regis. Oh, the pains are coming back. You did a nice job.
There he is, George Schindler.
A few years earlier, we did that out in California. He was working for a radio station and TV there. We did it. He fell off the table. We never got on the air. He didn't remember that when I did this.
Oh,
Yeah.
you almost fell off.
There's another piece of sponge. Look at my website.
Okay, now we have a little surprise. So if you can stand up because you can't see this. Can I get you up?
Yeah, it's hard to do that now.
I know. We're gonna you're not gonna do anything yet. You're gonna stand here because I need you to watch the screen. Okay?
I see from behind.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And
I'll be with you back.
Don't fall. We might not be insured. Stay right there. Okay. All right. He'll be back. If you want to switch it now to that other video, that's great. I got a video in the mail, and we're going to play it. And you're going to watch it. Okay? So whenever you want to start it, you're welcome to start it. Let's see if we can get this together. Don't fall, George. Hi, everyone. Bruce Kalver here. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I can't. Shut it off. All right. I'm a tech guy. Hold on. Did we do the wrong thing then? Hold on. I'm going the right one.
Keep your eye on Bruce.
Yeah. Don't move. Let's go back here. Sorry. Let me see which one it is. Did I do the wrong one? Joe, yeah. Is that it? That's what that is. Really? That's the right one. Was it? I'm gonna see, hold on. Yeah, it's the wrong one. All right. He's gonna be very mad if I don't do this. Hold on, let me check one more thing. All right, we can't do it. Oh, all right, give me a minute. All right, you're gonna have to take a minute. George, tell a joke.
What's that?
Tell a joke.
Can I do a trick?
I'll tell you what, come out and do a trick. Can you do it without falling?
Yeah, I can do a trick.
Okay, go ahead, come on, do a trick.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can I teach him a trick? All right, I'm going to show you a trick. And if you like it, I'll show you how it works. If you like it. And I'll know that you like it, because if you like it, you're going to hear all that applause if you like it. But you didn't stop it. But take a handkerchief, I'm going to use a red handkerchief. By the way, you can use any color you like, as long as it's red. Hold it in your fist, and when you pull it from the other side, it changes color. You're not sure. I'm going to push it, I'll do it again. Push it in like this, pull out. If you like it, I'll show you how it works. Push it like that. It's very, very easy trick. You push it in like this, push it in like that. Did you like it? Hey, Bruce, you like it? I'll show them how it works. How many people guess that I use two handkerchiefs? Both of you?
And that's why I love Mac King.
That's not me. Yellow one here and the red one in my pocket. The red one you saw because it was sticking out. You didn't see the yellow one. The reason you didn't see the yellow was because when I came out here, this yellow one, I poked it into my fist this way. And when I came out here, I kept this hand closed. But otherwise you would have seen it. Now here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the red action, poke it into your fist just this way. Oh, by the way, you remember the yellow one? That's the one you take out. Oh, by the way, never do this. And then you're going to know you have two hands. Don't do that. Take out the yellow one, push this one. By the way, you must always do it sideways. If you do it like this, sideways, do it straight. If you do it from the top, it doesn't come out. Let me start all over again. If you got it, you got this one done. My favorite trick, Billy McCone told me that, but I do it differently.
We can't work together.
Why?
Because I do that trick.
So we all
I don't do it as well as you,
Did
so
we get the movie?
you got it. We got the movie.
Can I watch it from the back?
Yeah, go watch from the back. No, live movie. Start that movie.
And that's why I love Mac King. Is that all right? Good. Oh, we're still recording. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. Hi, George. Surprise. This is Joe Devlin from Brooklyn, New York. From one Brooklyn boy to another, George. I'd like to congratulate you and say what an honor it is for me to be a part of this video tribute. I wish I could be there physically, but as I take this, I'm preparing for my South American tour. As you watch this, that's exactly where I'll be. I've known you, George, for 35 years. And I did a little number crunching. I realized that I first met you when you were my current age. Could you imagine? That's a lot of flash paper thrown in the air, that's for sure. You are the sweetest 27-year-old I've ever met. I'm just kidding, of course. In that time, you've been a wonderful father figure, a mentor, a teacher, and a best friend, I can assure you. I'm so happy that the Society of American Magicians, which I'm a proud member of, has chosen this wonderful honor for you as the longest living and serving dean in our society. I wish you another 90 years of deanship, if that's a word. You're a wonderful dean. A quick anecdote, when you first became the dean of the SAM, I called you up like I usually do and congratulated you, and I made the mistake of saying, what a great way to cap a career. Boy, you lashed out at me and said, definitely, I'm not capping a career, I'm just getting started. And you were absolutely right. Let today be a testament to the fact that you were just getting started. In those many years, you've done so much for the society, for magicians like myself, and I'm sure you'll continue to do so into the future. From Brooklyn, New York, I send you much love and strength, happiness and courage for continued success. I love you, George. I'll give you a big hug when you're back in Brooklyn. While I have you here, while we have a wonderful audience, there are a lot of young people in the audience, a lot of younger folks joining the arts of magic. Do you have any advice, but special advice, something they can apply today to make their magic a little more spectacular? That's my question for you, and I wish you well. Thank you. Can we return this?
I can't top that.
I know you can't. You're not going to. There he is. So George, you've been the dean for how many years?
Gee, I don't remember. For 5 from 19, so 14,
Right.
14 something.
14 years, right? And how many of the previous deans did you know?
I knew all but the first two. Wait, I didn't know Keller. I didn't know.
No?
Oh, I made him know, but I don't remember meeting him. And the other one was after him was
Frederick Eugene Powell.
I met Gene Ugard. He never met me because when I met Gene Ugard, he was already deaf and he was blind. He was very nice. Al Baker, I knew Al Baker. He was very nice. He had a son-in-law, a kid named Jay Marshall, also became a dean. And I knew all. The one I did not know was Dorney, and I missed that.
You knew Adrian Smith.
I knew Adrian Smith. I knew Jay Marshall, who was the real dean. He was the only dean the SAM ever had that really deserved it.
Yeah? I think you deserve it.
Well,
You can't give it up for now.
I'm not going to give it up. I want to see how it ends.
Ladies and gentlemen, George